This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Red hot comic book movie news, shooting up your butthole. The Weekly Planet, the Weekly Planet.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Weekly Planet, where we talk movies, where we talk comics, where we talk... I was going to say game shows. What else do we talk about?
Do we talk about game shows?
No, we never do.
We could. Folks, Wheel of
movies,
Fortune,
comics,
is it still on?
TV shows, that's it.
It's a knockout. What was that show about?
Tell us. We know, but we want to know if you know.
Was that the one that was like part game show, part stunt show?
Yeah, part kids hitting each other with stuff, whatever.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. It was that.
Well, we've covered the mandate of the Weekly Planet, which is to talk about game shows.
Correct. But we do have actually, maybe this is why we've got a guest coming up who was recently on a game show as well this episode, because we're going to be talking with Dave Lee about all the live-action Disney movies that have been coming out as of late. The remakes, I should say.
Right. Because, folks, the format here has gotten a little bit stale. And
we hate it.
And you know what happens when the format gets a bit stale? Mm-hmm. You go down under.
This
is our first episode down under with Dave Lee down under.
Very true. So that's coming up in a bit as our main topic. But before then, and we've got some time codes if you do want to jump around, we'll talk about Black Widow's social media embargo has broken.
Oh.
A first look at both the Flash and Supergirl suits from The Flash.
Not surprised, folks, if the Black Widow media embargo has been broken. We haven't seen it yet.
No, we haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Surprise.
That's right.
Some Suicide Squad news, some Spider-Verse stuff, some Morbius stuff, I guess. Some Greenland news. Hells yeah. I'm just going to do a bit more of our E3 wrap-up because we missed the Guardians announcement.
That's
that
true.
happened after we recorded.
We missed the Nintendo announcement.
That's right. Oh, and there's a big...
Because I'm a Nintendo expert now, I don't know if you know.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
I was going to put this in, but I guess I'll just do it now. A Quiet Place is the first movie since the pandemic to hit 100 million at the US box office. Well done, John Krasinski.
He's done it.
You've done it again.
He's done it again.
And also...
Almost like he planned it.
I mean, he would have.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
And also, a new DC controversy, Mason.
Oh, sure is. Boy, we're going to... Wow.
The biggest thing since Batman's dick.
That's right.
And I guess I don't mean that literally, but maybe. I don't know.
All right.
Let's find out.
You didn't introduce us.
Oh, yeah. I'm James, also known as Mr. Sunday. With me as always is my co-host, Nick Mason. We're sometimes on YouTube. We're sometimes here.
That's right.
Sometimes we're in our own homes. Sometimes we swap homes.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a buddy comedy.
Yeah, that's right.
But...
What a week.
What a week.
We also went to the cinema this week for a movie that isn't out yet in America, so we're going to talk about it next week. But I was at the cinema. And I was at the candy bar. I'm going to treat myself.
That's good.
And an Uber Eats driver came in with his helmet on. He was a scooter guy.
Yeah.
We went in. He picked up a single
Scooter Eats.
He picked up a single box of medium popcorn and he put it in his scooter and he drove off.
What?
And I'm like, whoever that is, they know how to live. Like whoever's ordered this. Yeah, right? Because I'm like, what? Like I'm sort of fascinated. Like what a fascinating window into that world.
Yeah.
Because like whoever that is, they were like, gonna have a movie day at home. Gonna order one box of popcorn.
One cinema popcorn.
Not even any drinks, not any choc tops.
But you can get like...
microwave popcorn.
Yeah, you can make it fresh, which I think is the best way to do it because then you can add your own butter and salt to taste. But then, yeah, like you said, you can get like the microwave packets which are exactly the same. I was at the cinema the other day, also at the cinema stories, if we're doing them, where they just take out, because I was in the first session in the morning, they just take out like tubs of popcorn which had been pre-popped from the night before and then just dump it back into the machine.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what they do. Claire used to work at a cinema. She's talking about it all the time.
But I mean... Like, I love a good cinema popcorn when it's hot and fresh, but the edible life of a box of popcorn, it barely makes it from the candy bar to your seat.
Yeah.
Now imagine it's whizzing through the streets of Melbourne on the back of a cold Melbourne day on the back of a scooter.
Yeah.
It gets to your house and you're like, cardboard.
Well, I hope it was worth it to watch Mark Wahlberg's Infinite.
Same.
Anyway, speaking of movies, Mason. Well, we're for Caravan of Garbage coming up. We are going to be doing the Iron Man movies. We're doing the final Fast and Furious this week. So we did Demon in a Bottle for Big Sandwich.
That's right.
So we do have a bonus.
Classic comic book story.
We do have a subscription service called Big Sandwich where if you sign up, we've got a bunch of bonus podcasts. And we do a book club where we did the classic Iron Man tale, Demon in a Bottle, where he gets drunk briefly. Check it out.
And he gets over it.
And he gets
Or
over
does
it.
he?
Yeah, he does. But then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Because, other writers
He's
and
a
whatever.
drunk man on his robot roller skates.
Certainly is, isn't he? So what did you think about what do you think the Black Widow social media embargo is?
What do you mean?
What do you think it
What do
would
I
be?
think it is?
What do you think it would be?
What does this mean?
Like people come out and they tell you what they think. Not full reviews, just first results.
Oh, okay. You're not saying explain to the concept of a media embargo.
Can if you want.
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
You're saying what do you think initial results are?
Yeah.
Initial impressions are. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, it's pretty. I would say okay to pretty good.
Okay, great.
Which makes
Pretty good.
me worry a little bit that it's not great.
Because first impressions usually like, oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
I love this, and it's not just because I got to see it first.
Yeah.
And if I don't say it's good, they'll take away my advanced screening entitlements.
Did we not say something's good or something? Is it because we haven't seen it?
Yeah.
Have we not been saying enough things have been good?
Don't know.
We're going to say more things are good,
But
Mason.
are these people in Australia or America?
I don't think any of them are.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
bullshit.
Right? We've said heaps of good
I
things.
want to see a movie and say it's okay.
Right? We saw Loki in advance. We said it was okay. They've given us this gift package here.
Yeah, we've got a box that we haven't opened yet.
There's a box here.
There's a box. There's 2 boxes.
I mean, maybe we'll open this up and there'll be nothing in there but a note that says, you didn't say enough good things about the things that we make, so you're not coming to Black Widow. Here's an actual Black Widow, the spider. You've been poisoned. We assume that Black Widow spiders are poisonous.
So, yeah, that'll be coming out first week of July. So
Yeah.
we'll swing back around to talk about it like a
right.
Black Widow would. I can't say I'm super looking forward to it. I'm kind of looking forward to getting it done so we can get to more stuff.
Sure, yeah.
So we can get to all the other stuff that's coming afterwards, like Eternals and Spider-Man and everything else, you know. But, you know.
I'm kind of looking
I'd
forward.
like to be surprised, though.
Yeah, I'd like to be surprised. I imagine this will probably be a passing of the torch from original Black Widow to Florence Pugh Black
Yeah.
Widow.
Pew, pew.
But there might be a bigger twist involved, like maybe there's some sort of time switcheroo that,
Yeah.
that prevents the death of the original Black Widow or something. Who knows?
Love a time switcheroo.
But also, it doesn't really feel like that kind of movie.
No, a lot of people have said, like-
it doesn't feel like they'd do 2 hours of espionage and they'd be like, oh, by the way, we switched your character for a clone and they've died in space or whatever.
Yeah. And they said, I've heard people have said it's more kind of Winter Soldier-esque.
Good.
Which makes sense also because this movie was supposed to be out more than a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's only now we're getting the time-bending Loki stuff. It would be
That's
an
true.
odd tie-in if
Yeah.
they did it that way. Anyway, we also got our first look, Mason, at the suits of both the Flash and Supergirl, just the logos. I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I did see, yeah.
There was also, this has just come out as we're recording, but the Supergirl suit can be seen from a distance. She's up on wires and she's got like a little bob haircut, but it's brunette, not
Oh my
the blonde
goodness.
Supergirl, which maybe people are upset about.
I bet they are. I bet they are. Not my Supergirl, they'll be saying.
That's what they'll be saying. But the suit, I mean, the Flash is the Flash. It's an update or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the Supergirl suit looks a lot like it's the same design as the Man of Steel one.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So I guess that's still in universe somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe they'll finally do she was the one in the pod. Or maybe in another universe, she was the one in the pod in the Fortress of Solitude. We saw an empty pod in Man of Steel. Who was it?
It could also be that he goes into another dimension and she's the one who came to Earth and not Clark.
Terrific.
So, there's many ways they could do it in this movie that they are making, Mason.
Sure are.
They weren't making it for a long time.
Not just a series of logos. Nope, real movie.
They went through 15 directors. They killed every one of them.
Oh, no.
Until Andy Muschietti, I think, is doing it, who did the It movies.
Yeah, but he had a machete.
That's right. He said, I dare you.
Yeah.
Come at me.
Machete by name, machete by nature. And also, I've got a machete, he said. And they're like, oh, we've met our match. We normally kill every director.
Yep, that's it.
He's waving that machete like a madman.
By name and nature,
Yeah.
just like you said.
Yeah. Can we call you Tony? No. No.
Are you excited for The Flash?
Yes.
But everything else around the Flash, except for the Flash himself?
Yes.
Because of the time travel and the dimensions and stuff?
And invariably, his villain will be somebody faster than him. He'll have to run really fast.
I hope he can
That'll be
run
great.
fast enough.
He can. He will.
He'll have to.
Yeah, he'll have to, and he will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Anthony Machete will get him.
Just wave it about. Suicide Squad 2 has a runtime James Gunn has confirmed. 2 hours and 12 minutes.
What a reveal. I thought that's where you've got to end. It has a runtime. It's all you're getting.
Goes for an amount of time. And he also said it does have a post-credits.
Whoa.
So there you go. Something to look forward to. Sometimes you look on your phone after you see a movie, say, for example, a ninth film in a franchise, and it says, this definitely has a post-credits, and you just go, fuck it, and you just leave anyway.
Whoa.
Maybe that happened to me.
It had a mid-credits.
Did it?
Yeah, I don't know if it had a post-credits because I did leave after the mid-credits.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
How was it?
I mean, it blew my mind.
I read it, and I went, no, I'm not staying for that.
You know what? Normally we make fun of clickbait websites,
Yeah.
such as We Got This Covered on our podcast. We got this covered.
Yeah.
But they got it right. I checked. There was like a one from months ago, and it was like the thing's been revealed.
But did they borrow that?
I don't know.
Also, we got this covered. Just scattershot everything.
That's true.
So they
yeah.
could have said, and this person turns up, and then an article. Well, no, it's this person turns up, and then
It was very specific though.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But I think it's
kudos.
also probably because that movie's been in the can for
a million years.
maybe,
Yeah, it was supposed to be out last year. Exactly. Did you see there was a title card of Spider-Man, next Spider-Man, and where it hints at the multiverse because there's like a crack or whatever?
Nope, didn't see it.
It's like that trailer should be coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'd imagine. Probably around Black Widow, maybe a bit before. So look forward to that. But speaking of Spider-Man, comicbook.com spoke to Tyrese Gibson, and they said,
He's Roman from the Fast and Furious
Roman
movies.
And they said, Morbius, you're in Morbius. You're Michael Morbius's friend or something. Is it in the MCU? And he was like, yes. And then Sony came out and said, no. GameSpot spoke to them and said, confirmed that Morbius is part of Sony Pictures' universe of Marvel characters and not in the MCU. Because also we've seen in the Morbius trailer.
SPUMM.
So?
Sony Pictures universe of Marvel movies.
Yes, that's
SPUMM. SPUMM is what we're calling it. We did it, folks. We've finally got a name for it, and it's SPUMM. Get it trending, folks. Hashtag SPUMM. All caps.
All caps.
Don't forget the all caps.
So it's but in the Morbius trailer,
Two
we,
F's, SPUMM.
we see the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and whatever, and then is it also, which hints it's in that universe?
Yes,
but also don't we see Adrian Toomes?
The Vulture, we do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to merge. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But they're going to merge them all over in a movie.
Honestly, I think maybe we said this at the time. I honestly think they just went Spider-Man. They did a Google image search for Spider-Man. It was the first result, and then they just put it in the movie. So
Might be right.
there you go.
We'll find out when when the second movie in the SPUMM universe.
No, it's just called SPUMM.
But because it's got universe in it.
Yeah.
You're right.
This isn't an LP gas situation. This isn't an ATM machine situation.
You're right, absolutely right.
SPUMM, get it right, folks. This will get traction if we all get it right. So you say there's big things on the horizon for SPUMM.
It's coming in.
Yeah.
It's coming in.
SPUMM's coming at you.
Deadline are reporting. Get ready for this, Mason.
I'm ready.
Thunder Road Pictures is currently in the process of developing a follow-up feature to last year's sci-fi action thriller Greenland, called Greenland Migration. Now, you might think, James, why would you put this joke sequel in? Why would you talk about this movie that you notoriously don't like? You don't like end-of-the-world movies or whatever. I've said it
James,
multiple
I would never
disaster
say
movies.
that because I know that you do love Greenland.
I do love the movie Greenland, Mason, and I'm happy we're going back to the Greenlandiverse. I just think it's you know what's good about it? Have you seen it?
No.
It's
I
focused.
know it's on Amazon, right?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It focuses on like the family specifically. Like that's what works about it. The human characters in it work, and that's why it's a genuinely great movie.
All right.
Yeah. So it must have done well on like VOD or whatever because this came out in the middle of the pandemic.
That's true.
So I'm excited, man. Do you want to know what it's about? We'll continue to follow. It will continue to follow the story of the Garrity family who survive a near extinction.
They're not the Greenlands?
Spoilers, no, because they have to go to Greenland. They have to go to Greenland.
Okay, all right.
They survive a near extinction level event when an interstellar comet hits the Earth. Who must leave the safety of the Greenland bunker and embark on a perilous journey across the decimated frozen wasteland of Europe and find a new home.
Was it a meteor last time?
It was a series of meteori.
So is this another meteor?
No, I think because the world has been hit by meteors, and then they have to go out and probably get some cans of soup and whatever. Anyway, it's good. Watch it. You should watch it.
Greenland 2, the search for cans of soup.
Yeah.
Nice.
Maybe some Spam.
Ugh.
You take what you can get, mate.
Guess you do.
When you're into Greenland too, you take what you can get.
You eating that Spam with pineapple in it?
Oh, look, if it was the end of the world, yes, I would.
Wouldn't I die?
Yeah, I guess so. I remember,
I'd stand out on the plateau and I'd be like, "Take me, meteors! I shan't be eating this Spam and pineapple."
but I I remember there was a Spam ad. They had a big...
you've made it into a delightful ham and pineapple pizza? I shan't be eating it.
But like,
I've chosen my side.
do you remember there was a big push for Spam again when we were
Spam
kids.
spiced ham, I remember.
And so
If you cut it this way, that's 4 quarter-pound burgers.
Exactly. You turn it on
Yum.
its side, you cut it. But like, how is it that bad, Spam? I don't think I've ever had it.
You would have had Spam because if you go to a pizza place,
that's
a lot
all
of the
Spam.
time that ham, like that little pieces of ham on like an Aussie pizza, that's Spam.
Then it's fine.
Yeah, it is fine.
Yeah. But you don't like it.
No, if it's very finely done and it's like been crisped up, not bad actually.
Yeah. And you chuck an egg on it and whatever else.
Yeah,
You're not feeling that.
Anyway,
All right,
this
cool.
is Spam talk.
Yeah, it is. We'll be back next
We've
week.
been talked Spam, we've talked SPUMM. It's a very SPUMM heavy episode.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Let's talk some E3 stuff.
Okay,
Mason.
let's do it.
So Guardians of the Galaxy is revealed at E3.
Yeah.
So it's a single player campaign.
Yep.
It's you only play as Peter Quill.
And you can sort of command the other members of the team. It's Groot, Gamora, and Drax.
It's the movie.
And maybe
version.
Mantis.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. But it's essentially, what they did in the first Guardians movie.
Yeah.
People are kind of mixed on it.
Interesting.
And fair enough, because it's Square Enix who made that terrible Avengers game.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think at its like core is not a bad game. Like mechanically it's fine.
Yeah, right.
It's just in a pile of bullshit.
And it's a lot of... Well, see, that's the thing also, because a lot of that game, what I've seen of it, is just sort of you go into an AIM headquarters and it's just a lot of grey blocks.
Yep.
And you fight in the rooms of grey blocks and then you do that again. But this is, again, like I saw some gameplay footage of this. It looks like really interesting environments.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
People are saying again how there is that sense that like it's the knockoff movie Guardians and whatever. I think the designs are a little bit better than that.
I think they are. I like the fact that Star-Lord has a big sort of graffitied star. He's got a big Star-Lord patch on his back, which I think is fun. I think a tweet went round of like, this is what like game designers think a cool guy looks like. But I think
that's what a cool guy who's not cool thinks.
See, exactly. Yeah. I think that Star-Lord in this looks like he's deliberately trying to be a cool guy.
Yeah.
And that's what he thinks a cool guy looks like. And also he's been, not on Earth for decades.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's kind of like he looks like a guy who thinks he's cool, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
I like these designs. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I can understand the hesitancy, and I can understand why people are going, why would you make a Guardians game where you can't play as all the characters? But I also think they fell down big time in the last game by spreading themselves too thin.
Yes.
Like the Hulk feels fine or whatever. But I've played as the shooty characters more because they felt better and it felt like mechanically it was more solid. And if you play as the Hulk, I want to be able to wreck everything. I don't want to come up against a guy with a shield.
And you're bouncing off the shield because he's got shield power. And brute force attacks don't work, so you need an energy power.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, the Hulk should be able to punch through a guy with a shield.
Yeah.
And I think because if you have only one main playable character, you can tailor all the action around that. You can tailor the campaign around it. You can, and then you bring in all the other characters and go, okay, well, we need some sort of tree-based power. If only we had we can command Groot. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
You can sort of strategically control all and command all the characters.
And maybe that's something you kind of work on more in later games, but I would rather them just get the shooting right, get the story right. I mean, look, it'll probably be a pretty standard like shooting action affair, but like a lot of games are very similar and like they've got the same base mechanic as an Uncharted or whatever, but it's everything around in the set pieces which kind of elevate it. I'm not saying this is going to be good because it could very well just be
Is it the exact same development team as the
one it's the people who did Deus Ex, I think.
Oh, I like
some of the new ones.
Okay, I like some of the Deus Ex games.
I like some of them too.
Yeah.
I played some or none of them, but I've played some of them.
Okay.
And that's interesting to me that game was mostly gold, wasn't it? Remember how golden everything was?
Gold, yeah. And they've probably learned their lesson.
They got slapped fucking hard, as they should have been.
Yeah. And I suspect, like as you said, perhaps in this game or maybe even future games, there might be an element of like you temporarily take control of another character. Like remember in the Spider-Man game, you were temporarily Mary Jane.
Do a stealth.
You could do a stealth or
something.
something.
I didn't like that, but they did do it.
They did do it. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't see how playing as, for example, Groot would be that. Not Groot. Sorry. As
Gamora.
No, the little one, the raccoon. Rocket. Wouldn't be that different from Peter Quill because again, it's shooting mechanics and whatever.
Yeah. Everybody can sort of fly if they need to.
It's
for a
fine.
bit. Yeah.
So look, honestly, this is best case scenario of what they could put out.
Agreed.
I don't think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But considering that it's out in October, basing it around one person, single player campaign, cut out all the microtransactions, have a very focused story, then this is what I'm here for.
Also, movie style soundtrack as well.
Yeah, the 80s.
It was a big week for Bonnie Tyler because I Need a Hero was in this, it was in
Loki,
and it was in something else as well that I cannot recall.
It was in another thing,
It was in 3 things.
What was the third thing? Because we mentioned it last week, and I think... No, because we didn't spoil it. Because I couldn't remember where I'd heard it the third time. And then I'm like, oh, that's right. It was in the second episode of Loki. Speaking of, our recaps are going up. Collins is, he's doing it, isn't he?
He sure is. He's killing it.
People seem to like those. Is there anything else, though, from E3 that you would want to talk about? Because there was also Breathe of the Wild 2, which was
well,
announced.
as a bona fide expert of Breathe of the Wild 1 now, I'm like, I recognize that thing.
How far are you in?
I mean, a number of hours. It's one. Apparently, you can finish Breath of the Wild 1 in an hour.
Yeah,
if you're really dedicated. But I'm like, I'm mucking about. I'm making little recipes on a cooking pot.
Are you using your big glider?
Yeah, I got the glider. I got the big glider. And
That's cool.
Some glides.
So it seems to be there's some kind of time travel element to it, and the world's gone bad, and he's got a robot arm. Like Majora's Mask. That was the comparison of Majora's Mask, which is the sequel to the one before that.
Yeah.
And it's like the world's bad and whatever.
Yeah.
But and there's also the announcement of another thing I wanted to mention was Metroid Dread.
Oh, which is a sequel to Metroid Fusion, apparently, which came out like
a million years ago.
15 years ago, maybe, something like that.
Did you ever play any of those Metroid games?
Yeah.
I think I played a bit of Super Metroid, but that's
like Metroid, Super Metroid, others Metroids.
Did you ever play any of the first-person shooters? Because people are looking for Metroid Prime information.
Yeah, because there's the 4th or the 5th one is...
I think it's the 4th.
Okay, right.
Because because I think a year or a couple of years ago, when they were well into development, they made an announcement. They were just like, it's bad. We're not doing well, so we're going to restart it. So
that's a fascinating thing about Nintendo is they're operating on their own schedule.
Yep.
I think they did... I think in one of their announcements this year, they were like, we have other games that are in development, but we don't have anything to show you, so we're just not going to.
Yeah.
They weren't like, well, we got to knock up something. Like, was it what? Like, or we're gonna give this a release date, even though it's not finished. Like a lot of game developers will do. They're just like, no, we'll give you what
you can wait.
Yeah, you can wait.
Just fucking wait. All right.
The little Zelda Game and Watch. Is
I'm not
out.
interested in that.
No, I'm not super interested. But no,
I don't remember. I remember playing those briefly, and they're just not for me. They've never been for me. Those kind of top-down RPGs where you didn't find the right rock, so you can't get into the whatever.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not interested.
Sure, yeah,
yeah.
Great dialogue from the old man. Find the right rock. Sorry. Yeah.
I could move aside.
Yeah,
there's this door, but
that's what I've been saying with Breath of the Wild. It's one of those games where it's like, I'll just play for 5 minutes and then 2 hours goes by and I'm like, what happened?
I missed work.
Yeah, I miss it because it's like there's a lot of like okay, well I went down into a shrine and I solved all the puzzles in the shrine and okay, well I've done that, so I'll stop. And then it's like, oh, but I got a new power from the shrine, so I'll just test out the power. And then it's like, oh, there's horses, I should learn how to ride a horse.
Yeah.
Oh, you can become friends with dogs. I'll just become a friend to this dog.
That sounds awesome, honestly. Like the fact that it's an open world game where there's always something to do, because often it's just like they'll just pad it out with like traversal and like conversations.
Well, there also seems to be a lot of stuff that they don't explicitly say. Like, if it doesn't when the dog show up, you're not like, you don't get a text box that's like, you can become a friend with dogs.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I wonder if I gave this dog some food, he'd be friends with me, and I did, and he was.
Does he follow you around?
Yeah,
that's cool.
They lead you to treasure.
Oh, that's cool.
They'll fetch a stick if you throw a stick.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Just quickly on the Metroid thing.
Yes.
There's been so many Metroidvania games since.
Yeah, this one's got to be something special.
It has to be, but also it could be, because it's Nintendo, I think people might just love it anyway. There was rumors also of a Donkey Kong game made by the people who made Odyssey.
Donkey Kong Dread.
Yeah. Wouldn't you like a 3D Mario Odyssey style Donkey Kong game? I reckon that'd be incredible.
But don't you think everything 3D Odyssey style has been done by Mario Odyssey?
Yeah, but before Mario Odyssey though,
yeah,
there wasn't a Mario Odyssey.
Odyssey is the one where he has the hat and he throws
it's
the hat
great.
on people.
It's really good.
So do you think Donkey Kong would have a tie and he chokes people? He chokes some people with the tie and he gets their powers.
That'd be cool.
You see him dragging. He gets the powers of somebody he's dragging along by the neck.
Cranky Kong. Yeah, who's the original Donkey Kong?
Oh.
Anyway, E3 all in all, whatever.
Also, I really like the look of Battlefield 2042.
Oh yeah,
but it's multiplayer only, so I don't care.
Get fucked then. Get absolutely. I didn't know that. People were talking about that.
There's no single player campaign, but it looks amazing. Like, and again, I feel I'm rarely impressed by anything in one of like any Call of Duty, any Battlefield. I'm like, it's just the same thing again. But this one, I'm like, this looks really good, and there's sandstorms and climate situations happening.
Probably zip lines
and wingsuits and whatever. And I'm like, this actually looks like a great leap in terms of interesting stuff happening in this, and I would love to play this, but then I'm like, no campaign, so great. I would love to see 2 seconds of this at a time as I go into an online match. I'm immediately headshotted, and then I have to start again. Cool, love it.
Maybe you could do it with bots.
Maybe.
I still wouldn't.
I just love to be killed while wingsuiting or while in a tornado.
Look, in 2 years when it comes to PlayStation Plus, I will click that I will purchase it, and then I will never play it.
Great.
That's what I'm going to do.
PlayStation, you've got our money.
You've done it again. Okay, let's talk about the biggest controversy of the week, Mason.
Okay, great. Folks, this is not for children.
No.
If you're in the car with your kids, take your hands off the wheel.
Yep.
Cover your kids' ears with your hands.
That's right, yeah.
Careen into a ditch.
No, get them to hold the wheel.
Oh, good call. Yeah,
That's good. There you go. So this is via a Variety interview with Justin Halpern, who is the Harley Quinn, the animated show, the co-creator and executive producer. He said, I'm working on the project. It's incredibly gratifying and free to be using characters that are considered villains because you have so much more leeway. A perfect example of that is in the 3rd season of Harley, when we had a moment where Batman was going down on Catwoman, and DC was like, you can't do that. You absolutely cannot do that. They're like, heroes don't do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So we said, are you saying heroes are selfish lovers? And they were like, no, it's that we sell consumer toys for heroes. It's hard to sell a toy if Batman is going down on someone.
Wow.
Yeah. I think also, if you're going to do it anywhere, that is the show where you would do it. I don't think people would have...
Don't let your kids watch that if you don't want them to.
I don't think it would have been... It wouldn't have been controversial either because there's some insane shit in that show.
I think it wouldn't have been controversial if they hadn't said heroes don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
wow.
To be fair, though...
It explains a lot about...
Yeah.
It explains why the
somebody...
Marvel Universe is so cool and fun and quippy and the DC Universe is so grim.
Heroes don't do that. Yeah.
Heroes do that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this came to light, I think, this week again. There's a quote from Neil Gaiman who said that in an issue when he was writing Sandman in the 80s, he wanted to put a masturbation reference in the comic books, and DC editorial were like, absolutely not, because nobody does that in the DC universe. And he's like, that explains the DC universe. That explains why everyone's like that. That's what the world would become.
Yeah. So look, I don't know. For me, it's very odd that they would like. This is the line.
Yes.
Like you can melt someone's face off and you wouldn't explicitly see it either. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I don't know if you saw this, but Zack Snyder posted an image that maybe he got commissioned.
Yeah, maybe. It looks very Frank Miller-esque.
Yeah. But arguing for the case, that he would do something like that. Also, like he'd want to be the best at it.
Yeah. Look, he would be, as with most things in the DC universe, he's the world's greatest detective.
Yep.
He'd be the world's second greatest at that.
To who?
I think Nightwing probably.
Yeah.
Okay, here's my list.
Or a woman.
Yeah. Okay. I'm probably Poison Ivy. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Nightwing.
Yep.
Probably comic book Green Arrow, because his personality is so abrasive that he must have something to compensate, right?
Yeah, sure.
Because why would anybody get in a relationship with that guy?
Yeah.
Probably Plastic Man.
Yeah, fair point. I reckon, he'd lean on it like it's a crutch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Be one of those guys who's like, actually, I'm known for this or whatever because of my abilities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he doesn't put the work in.
That's true. Right.
Is what I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But again, like this is him recounting what DC said to him, as in heroes don't do that. Yeah. Maybe they didn't say exactly that, but at the same time, the sentiment is there.
It sure
of
is.
them being like Batman or whoever wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He'd do it. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Matches Malone would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely would. He'd talk about it with his mates.
Oh yeah. Hey fellas. It's me, Matches, not Batman. I'm not Batman, just to be clear. Guess what I done? Guys? I done it with a lady. It's me, Matches. I'm not Batman, just to be clear. I'm definitely not Batman.
Good stuff. Now, Mason, every now and then we think to ourselves, we don't know anything. We don't know enough. Maybe we should do some more research, or do we bring somebody in who does know things
Somebody
instead?
Competent.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. And most weeks we're like, nah.
Let's just wing it. But this week
results have been bad, so
that's right.
This week.
So this week we've actually got a very special guest from a number of projects that you may be familiar with. Dave Lee Down Under of the YouTube channel of the same name, of the podcast of the same name, which I am a patron. Patreon? I'm a Patronus. Is that right? The stag from Harry Potter.
You're that thing, yeah.
I'm
that's
that thing
right.
from Harry Potter. Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
So for those, you might be familiar with Dave's work because he does the Cartoon Evolutions on YouTube. They're these massively successful breakdowns of popular, I was going to say comic book characters, sometimes comic book characters,
sometimes.
but you've got a Bugs Bunny. You did a Superman one, which quite frankly should have more views. It's very upsetting.
Yeah.
Though it's getting up there now, isn't it?
It's getting there, ticking away.
Yeah. So the reason we wanted to get you on specifically is because your focus a lot of the time, but not always, is like animation and Disney. And what Disney have been doing for the last 10 or so years or even longer is convert these old movies into live action to varied success.
Convert, that's very clinical. I think it's very appropriate. It's like from beta to Laserdisc or whatever. It's like, we'll just, people in the Disney offices we'll just do a standard conversion from animation to live action.
Now, often they're, the reason they do them because it's a $1 billion industry, right?
Yeah.
Like they more often than not do well, would you say?
Well, essentially, most of them have made close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst performing ones have made like 200 million.
Yes.
The middle rungs $500-600 million. So
Absolutely.
most of them are making quite a bit of money.
We'd take that amount of money, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
See, the thing is, as well, I think they sometimes get a bit of a bad rap because I think there is, there's some bad ones and we'll talk about them, I feel. But there's some genuinely good stuff in here, I feel, that might even be better than some of the source material that it's based on. Does anybody else feel the same way?
Where are you leaning there? Where are you? Aladdin?
I did like Aladdin. I'll
I also
talk
like
about
Aladdin.
Aladdin. Cinderella, I think, for one. I think that's a terrific movie.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
A lot.
So for example, but this thing though, it didn't start. It didn't start in the 2010 was when Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland kicked off. But in the 90s, they tried a few of these. They did a Jungle Book and they did a couple of Dalmatians.
Yeah.
Are those good?
A couple of Dalmatians.
Not particularly. I love the Dalmatian ones as a kid.
Yeah.
And you go back and watch them and they're just not great.
Are they like? Is it too like weird high energy?
Does it's like totally like mid to late 2000, like 90s kids film, just high octane, just craziness.
So when people might say like Cruella, have you seen Cruella?
I haven't seen Cruella yet.
How do you say it? Cruella.
You had it right, and then you doubted yourself.
I thought about it.
Yep.
Because I've heard some criticism of that being like that this isn't a patch on the Glenn Close ones or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you feel that's the case?
I think Emma Stone did really well.
Yeah.
She's incredible in it. It's a very different performance than what Glenn Close does. Glenn Close is very eccentric.
Yeah, right.
But you look at Emma Stone's, it is eccentric, but it's not quite to that same level.
Here's a question for you, Dave Lee.
Sure.
When you see that they're releasing a new version of something, what is your initial reaction every time? Or it could be different every time.
Do you mean from like just the announcement?
Yeah, when they're like, we're doing a 101 Dalmatians prequel.
Yeah.
Are you like, cannot wait? Are you like, could go either way?
Depends on the project.
Yeah, right.
Most times I'm excited. I mean, I'm one who enjoys most of these to varying degrees.
Yeah.
So I'm one that will champion. I understand why they're doing them because they make money and it's keeping these classic stories in rotation for a new audience in a new way. The same way like some of these stories, have been told for thousands of years, like Aladdin or
Spider-Man.
whatever. It's Spider-Man, yeah, exactly right. And they're just being redone in a new way. So when I hear they're doing a new one, I kind of think, oh yeah, okay, that'll be interesting.
Right.
Cruella was the only one where I kind of thought, really, we're going back and we're doing 101 Dalmatians again?
We just talk about that one now, since it is the latest one.
Sure.
I think it's quite good.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. Like it's not brilliant, like, because a lot of people are, there are the comparisons also that people make. It's like Disney's Joker.
Yeah,
but it's better. It's better than that, and it's got some fun fashion montages and some really like scenery chewing performances. And people like kind of point to the clip of the Dalmatians killing Cruella's
mother.
Yeah.
And I think that's intentionally like daft. Like it's not. It's not supposed to be a serious.
I think if you wanted to cut Todd Phillips to the core, you would go up to him and say, I think that Cruella, the 101 Dalmatians sequel, is a better movie than Joker. That would upset him.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
That being said, I had no expectations for Cruella and Joker. I was like, this could be interesting. And I thought Joker was all right. You didn't like it.
I didn't like it. So how far removed, like, is there a limit to how far removed a movie can be as like a prequel to this sort of thing before you'd be like, is this anything? Like, does Cruella feel like you're really stretching it a bit? Or
Well, I've always felt the best of these remakes are the ones that have some sort of distance. I mean, there's no point going back and redoing the same thing over and over again. Like you said, carbon copy, put the VHS in and make it a DVD. Sort of thing. I think the ones that have worked the best are the ones where they've added a bit of backstory, or they've tried to do something new with the story, add some new surprises in there, do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about it later, but the Lion King, which was just like carbon copy.
Yeah.
Cruella, you do something a little bit different with it. You invent a little bit of a backstory, or you kind of tell the story in a different way. I think that's where these things work best.
I think also for me, I can't remember seeing 101 Dalmatians, the original. I might have seen it. So I'm not tied to any of these characters. Whereas the Lion King, like I know the Lion King back to front. I can recite the Lion King. So any changes I notice, but Cruella, I'm kind of like, you can mess around with this. Like I don't care. So you got a bit more freedom. Like you change the Lion King and people attack you.
Well, that's what I see. Like I said, the best ones for me are the ones that do something different. But I think there was an exception with the Lion King because for that film in particular, I loved it, even though it was exactly the same. But a film like that, which is so iconic, you can't change it without making it
Worse.
what it is. So you know, you change something, people are going to flip out.
Yeah.
People flip out anyway, even if they do change things.
That's true.
But,
Yeah.
But I feel like something that's so iconic like that, you've got very little leeway in what you can do before it is something completely different.
I remember, we could just jump around, it's fine, it doesn't have to be in order. But I remember when Jon Favreau, because he first did The Jungle Book before The Lion King, and they sat down beforehand and they said, right, what are some, you probably know this, some iconic moments from The Jungle Book that we have to put in? There's the Be Like Me song or whatever. There's a bit on the river. There's this hypnotized snake.
Yeah.
And there was like a handful of things that you remember. But with The Lion King, it's literally every scene, every song, you know? So you kind of, you gotta adhere to that.
I think the thing with Jungle Book particularly is when they did the original animation, Walt didn't like the original text, the Kipling novel.
Oh, right, okay.
And he sent his animators off to kind of, workshop a film, and it came back. He was like, "It's too dark. Like, what are you doing? I want songs. I want, happiness and stuff. Go away and just do it again." The animators weren't happy with it. So what they did with the live action one is really went back to, I guess, the core of that original novel, and did it that way. And I think it's just like kind of an amalgamation of both things.
Yeah. Well, let's take it back. Let's take it back to the year 2010, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland, follow up by the sequel, Alice Through the Looking Glass, which might be a time travel prequel. I haven't seen these.
Yeah.
What are these like?
I've watched it twice, and I'm pretty sure I fell asleep both times.
Yeah.
And I don't
Through
often
both
fall asleep.
versions? Through the sequel and the original?
I've only watched the sequel once.
Yeah. Because that's notoriously not good,
It's
right?
not
People
great.
do not like that one.
But the first one, the first time I watched it, definitely fell asleep.
Yeah.
And the second time, I think I fell asleep again. It's not great.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Tim Burton, but some of his stuff I'm not huge on. And I feel like he was not the right person to tackle Alice in Wonderland, which is, again, it's something that is so iconically vibrant and bright, and particularly if you think of the original animation, it's one of the most vibrant films they made.
Yeah.
The colours and, the scene where Alice is in the poppy fields and all multicoloured poppies and stuff.
But the trend is make it grittier.
Make it grittier, exactly right.
So
Make this children's property grittier.
So is that like got a dark kind of like Edward Scissorhands kind of current?
Yeah.
So you've seen it?
And I bloody walked out, and I was on a plane. No, I have seen the first one.
Nice.
I've seen the first one. It's and I think I went because I'm like, well, I like Tim Burton for the most part, but it's
do you?
Not great.
I don't know. I like Batman.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, oh yeah, Batman, Beetlejuice. And then you go, Willy Wonka.
It's only the one thing that he does.
Yeah.
It is make it. Yeah, when I think of Burton, Alice in Wonderland remake, I do think of dark and
I just think of that like
claustrophobic.
behind the scenes footage of Helena Bonham Carter in front of a green screen.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's the side by side where she's got a giant head in the movie. Is that right?
It's weird. It is weird. I think it's one thing that I usually forget is it's supposed to be a sequel to the animation.
Oh, that's right, because she goes back.
goes back,
She's an adult now, or whatever. Oh, yeah, some of these are prequels. They're right. They're
so
not.
kids get confused. Well, it's funny because every time I review one of these things and I'm like, oh, the remake, and someone's like, oh, you get heaps of comments, which is like, it's not a remake, it's a sequel.
We've never received a single comment correcting anything we've ever done. So
we're going to get a lot
relate.
of The Lion King isn't technically live action, etc. We know that all that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, look, I will never watch those. And I honestly, I was surprised when they announced the second one.
Yeah.
Because it's not well regarded. Again, I haven't seen it. What would I know? But why would they? And it bombed, right? The second one bombed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like, I don't know, maybe 400, maybe 300 million or something. Didn't do very much.
Sad.
But the first one was close to, it was over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So that's why they went back and did another one. That's the film that kickstarted all of it.
Well,
because it made so much.
That's exactly it. And I think off the back of Dark and Gritty is why they then made Maleficent, which is a prequel to Sleeping Beauty, not a remake, or it is a remake.
Sort of.
Because you do get bits of Sleeping Beauty
it kind of
in
goes
it.
in
And then the sequel, Mistress of Evil. I've only seen the first one. I can't say, I think like visually it's very interesting and I love the Angelina Jolie design and the cheekbones.
You love the design
wings.
of Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, I think as a human being.
Am I right, fellas? Fellas.
But I think, I think she plays it very well, but I don't remember loving it and I didn't really buy into the whole she's not evil thing as much. But, I guess it's a fair shot, I guess.
The fascinating thing to me is and there might be more than those two examples, but of Cruella and Maleficent to be like, the villain in the last thing. Well, they skin dogs. They want to skin dogs, but they're good actually, right?
Yeah. And so what did you think about those ones?
The first one I really loved when it first came out. The more I've revisited it, I've kind of enjoyed it less and less each time. I don't quite know why. I love Angelina Jolie's portrayal of Maleficent.
Yeah.
I love the original Sleeping Beauty. It's one of my favourite of the animated films. Just so visually stunning. And it is one that goes in, it changes a few things. So I like it for that. But there's just something that hasn't held up with it. Maybe it is because it is just so dark and grimy.
She's a woodland fairy monster or something.
Yeah.
And she gets her wings cut off, and that's a really traumatic.
Yeah.
So it's like this abuse that they just put on. Like it's clearly like an allegory for like something much darker.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's just I know. Well, the second one didn't do as well though. Did
No.
it?
Again, there was one that did probably 400 or something.
I feel like though that was probably a way to get Angelina Jolie to sign on for like the Eternals or something like that.
I think she pushed for it. So I think that's probably maybe, I don't know, but I'm sure she pushed for the second one.
Just be like, we'll give you this if you show up in the Eternals and swing a magic sword for a few minutes. Yeah, but I can't say I'm a fan, but that brings us up to 2015 Cinderella, which Kenneth Branagh directed, director of First Thor. I think it's genuinely like really enchanting and fun. And,
I haven't seen it, so it's enchanting and fun is what you're saying.
and it's got Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah. And is there a reason, do you feel like it's a necessary remake or a live?
I do, and it's also, I think they recreate the fairy tale world and kingdom. It's not dark and gritty, it's just like, what if the Disney castle was real and all these, and like these were real people walking around in their bright shiny outfits and shoes and whatever. And, I think it's like a genuinely kind of magical feeling movie, and you feel the same.
I agree. I think getting Kenneth Branagh to do it. I mean, he brings, obviously he's very well known for his Shakespearean work.
Yeah,
whether that's his performance or his directing. And he brings this real kind of Shakespearean feel to it. And I think doing that, and likewise what he did with Thor, with that very Shakespearean kind of epic sort of mystical feeling to it, I think it was just perfect. I love it. I think it's a fantastic film. Yeah. And Lily James is just terrific in it.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because...
is she going to be Pamela Anderson?
Yes, she is, yeah.
Okay, that's how I recognise that.
Yeah. It's interesting because around these times...
Fellas, you like that design, fellas?
But like... Because remember, during all this, they did like Snow White and the Huntsman, and Lily Collins did a...
Yeah.
Was that a... What was that one that she did with...
she recreated the famous gorilla on the drum set. That's what she did.
Her father did,
Her father did.
What's the one with Erin Brockovich? What's her name? My God.
Mirror.
Yeah, that one.
Sandra Bullock.
So like they were doing a lot of these knockoff... Not Sandra Bullock.
Nicole Kidman?
No, Julia Roberts.
Oh, Julia Roberts.
There we go.
Roberts, geez.
We'll just get emails. I just have to mention it. But there seemed to be, while these movies were being made, they were trying like knockoff variations and all of them from other big studios at the same time. Even like Andy Serkis released The Jungle Book soon after The Jungle Book.
Is that outside of copyright, The Jungle Book?
No, it's one of those books that's gone into what do you call it, public domain because it's a certain amount of years old. That Disney has this very funny thing where if they find out someone is touching one of their properties, even if it's legal, they want to try and get in and get in on it. The original Jungle Book from the 90s was an independent film.
That wasn't a Disney movie.
That wasn't Disney, but Disney jumped in on it. They found out this was being made. It was huge, like massive budgeted film, and Disney were like, "We'll give you more money if you let us release it." So they then released that as this is our first live action remake ever.
Really?
With the new version, they found out Warner Brothers and Andy Serkis were doing this new one, which was at the time called The Jungle Book, and they went, they're stepping in on what we're doing. Let's make one and get it out there first."
Right.
So they essentially got in there, they made it, and Warner Brothers going, fuck, we can't release this now, so close to the Disney one. And that's why they sat on it for so long. They sat on it for like 3 years until they're like, fuck, just give it to Netflix. Rename it Mowgli.
Mowgli, yeah.
And then Netflix had it.
I think it's better, Mowgli.
Yeah.
I mean,
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah,
I haven't
think
watched that one.
There is this thing where, and this is my problem the same with The Lion King. With The Jungle Book, the animals are just straight animals, so that you can't, there's not a lot of emotion in them. And, they do, they do Baloo does his song and whatever, and King Louie is a terrifying orangutan. But the Andy Serkis one, they have kind of human-ish faces and eyes, which sometimes work and sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. But I think it's way darker. Like one of his little friends gets decapitated. Like you see, it's like he finds he's like a little dog or something. He finds his head on a stick and like a village.
Dog,
it's not like, it's very dark, and I think what Disney are allowed to do with theirs is like nobody can do Disney's Jungle Book live action, but they can do, because Disney obviously own that, but they can do the book version. Yeah. Same with Cinderella or whatever.
All those fairy tales and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the animal thing hurts it though. I think technically it's an amazing movie.
Should have just been regular people. Just regular men. Just regular men in the jungle.
Yeah, just he's sitting on top of Bill Murray's stomach floating down the river. But I don't know, it just felt like...
Hey, it's me, Baloo. I'm a man who lives in the jungle. You want to hang out? No.
But I don't know. I mean, does anyone else have any strong feelings either way about this movie? Or
I loved it when I first saw it, and it's one that hasn't held up very well.
Yeah. Do you think it's part of it is that I think it lacks kind of life and bounce that you'd get in a cartoon?
Yeah.
There's some moments where he does, like I said, where he meets King Louie and he's like this, like this 12-foot tall orangutan, and that's a pretty spooky scene. But and it's Christopher Walken, and he kind of talks his way through the song and kind of shuffles through it. And because being Christopher Walken, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun because he can sing and dance and all that. But it's just kind of
weird.
Yeah, I feel like it's a tech demo more than a movie.
Well, it's exactly what it is. That and the Jungle Book as well. John Favreau just kind of playing around and trying to. So many technologies were kind of developed or refined for it. But I think this is like, it goes back to Walt Disney, and this is why he didn't want to make it so dark in the first place, because he knew what worked for this kind of family entertainment. And you take it too dark and you try and, push it in that direction, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. So no interest in seeing that one?
Nope.
Yeah. It's probably on Disney Plus, Mason.
Oh,
you can see
I'll
it
change
right
my
now.
mind then. There we go.
Here's one that I literally watched yesterday. And it's technically not a live-action remake because the first one is also live-action except for the dragon. But Pete's Dragon got a remake from the director who's doing The Green Knight. It's coming out soon, which I'm looking forward to, and maybe others. I barely remember Pete's Dragon. I remember it's a weird horrible mud village, and a dragon shows up and nobody
Mike
believes.
Myers in Pete's Dragon, or am I thinking of something?
So. I think it's from the 70s, is it? Or the early 80s?
70s.
I don't remember
I'm thinking of Pete's Meteor.
Okay. I don't remember loving it, and it was that weird blend, but this is an entirely... I don't know whether it's based on the book or anything.
I don't think so. I think it was a...
But
I don't know.
It's basically the Iron Giant or E.T., except with a big dog dragon.
Right.
And it's quite good. I thought it's pretty... I mean, it's pretty like low-key and... just kind of quietly charming, and Robert Redford's in it.
Yes, he is. That's right.
It's just like... It's Bryce Dallas Howard and whatever. And that weird beard guy from the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Whatever his
Wes
name
Bentley.
is. Yeah. It's just like Carl Urban's in it.
Oh,
there you go.
all right.
Huge cast.
Is it on Disney Plus right now?
It is on Disney Plus right now.
Hello.
Because in preparation for this show, I'm like, which of these should I watch that I haven't seen? I don't really want to watch Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Pete's Dragon, there we go.
Good choice.
But
Dave, did you were you over the moon when Disney Plus became a thing, and it was just like it's everything. It's
It's a
everything.
physical
forever.
medium.
Yeah, I'm
man.
a
no,
physical.
that's true,
I've got all the animated films on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I've got most of the whatever they've released. So for me, I wasn't excited that I can finally get them all because
Yeah,
I've
you
just
already
spent
had them all, kind
however
of, yeah.
much money over the last few
Yeah,
decades.
that's true, yeah.
Yes, I can now have
You
it
were
for
like-
$8 a month.
You were like, I'll finally track down the copy of this thing. My final one I've done. It took me years to get this one, and you put it down. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's on
Disney
Plus.
Yeah, exactly right. The thing I was excited about is the original programming, and I think some of Walt's earlier live action stuff never made it to like Blu-ray or
okay.
DVD or
Right,
whatever.
right.
So that's been a way for me to go back and actually see some of that stuff.
What kind of stuff is that? Like, what are you talking
Like
about?
he worked on so many live action films, like in the 60s, up until his death. Obviously, there's a huge period of time there where he's not only doing animation, but he's doing live action films, he's doing television, and a lot of that stuff just never made it to Blu-ray. Stuff like The Ugly Dash Hound or Flubber or
original Flubber,
the
right,
original
yeah.
Flubber, Absent Minded Professor. Stuff like that. All those really young Kurt Russell films when Kurt
yeah,
Russell
yeah,
was a
yeah.
teenager. Just really crazy, wacky family films.
Because
Is that Kurt Russell thing true? You're a Disney guy.
What's that?
The last thing
Oh,
Disney
yeah.
wrote was Kurt Russell,
Yep.
the name Kurt Russell.
Yeah. They
It's like
found-
Kurt Russell is coming to kill me, but he didn't get to
Yeah. Well, they had found his, on Walt's desk after he'd passed away, they'd found a note that had Kurt Russell written on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Imagine being Kurt Russell.
I know.
Isn't it so cool, though, that Kurt Russell transitioned? He was basically Zac Efron.
Yeah.
In the way that Zac Efron is now not, you know, he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
different stuff, but he was this child actor, and then he did like Escape from New York and The Thing.
now he's
Yeah.
Mr. Nobody in Fast and Furious movies.
Exactly. I just think that's really fascinating. But no, look, I just want to quickly mention as well, my son and I, we watched Pete's Dragon together, and he loved it. I like the design of the dragon. They redesign it completely where it's just like it's like a green dog.
Yeah.
And it's pretty
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, also the benefit of physical media would be that
Yeah.
you don't have that you have the versions that were originally
Yeah.
intended as or at least as the last time the Blu-ray was released or what
Yeah.
have you, as opposed to the Disney Plus
Censored
one,
version,
where they're
yeah.
like, we should
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
many things here for no
Yeah.
reason. You know,
What do you think they should do with movies like Song of the South and stuff like that?
I think it's important to have them out there. I think it's a discussion point.
Yeah.
Song of the South is not a good movie, really. I mean, not even if we take away the controversy, it's not a great film.
Yeah.
It's not that good. But I think it's an important thing to have out there, whether it is like Gone with the Wind or something like that, or The Jazz Singer with Al Jolson. It's a conversation piece.
Yeah.
And you have to view it through the lens of the time and kind of maybe use it as a piece to dissect and, this is what it was like, and put a disclaimer at the beginning.
It's weird when people complain to me about that disclaimer because they're not censoring it.
Yeah.
They're just saying, hey, there's maybe these crows are like weird and problematic. And at the time it was maybe like very forward thinking, but now in hindsight, not as much. I really don't see the problem with that. Like a lot of this stuff is still out there. People are like, I can't believe they're cancelling Gone with the Wind. They're not. You can get it.
Yeah.
Like you can hire it, you can
Yeah.
buy it. It's not gone. Also, fucking try and sit through Gone with the Wind.
they're not cancelling it because they could sell it to you.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah.
would
Right.
they cancel it if
Yeah.
you're going to buy one?
Here's one that's that's controversial. Some people say. People go either way on this. 2017, it's $1 billion movie in Beauty and the Beast. I'm not a huge fan of the original. Not that I don't like it. Like I didn't really watch it as a kid, like I did with The Lion King. So when it came out, I went, that was all right. But a lot of people do not like this version. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People hate it.
Yeah.
And mostly because of Emma Watson. I don't get it.
I thought the Beast design was awful. That's
Oh,
one
yeah,
thing I
that
didn't
too,
like
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
I love it. I'm a huge fan of the original Beauty and the Beast. That's one that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And just a film I love. I love the music and just the characters and everything. The story is fantastic. I'm like a huge fan of that gothic horror kind of thing where it's like someone falls in love with a monster or Dracula, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So I love that story. And I love the remake. I thought it was the way they did it, I thought, again, they add like little side stories and stuff and some of the animation's not great or whatever, but I think they did a really good job with it. Again, like Kenneth Branagh did with Cinderella, just that whole magical visual design. I love it.
It was all right.
It's great, yeah.
They also they explain like why nobody knows the castle or the prince or any of that. They fill in some plot holes, Mason, which I know you love.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, look, I can't say that I hated it. I was like, yeah, it's fine or whatever, and I'm very excited for the Gaston prequel Disney
Oh,
Plus
yeah,
series
yeah,
they're making.
nice.
That's weird.
So
That's one where I've thought that's a bit weird.
yeah,
Going to explain how he got his pecs.
eggs.
Oh.
Eggs, Mason.
Oh, it's
He was
eggs,
eating
yeah.
too many eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's a weird choice, don't you think? Him and is it LeFou?
Yeah, LeFou, yeah.
How
Josh
they kind
Gad.
of become friends
Yeah,
or whatever.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. It's not my mum.
Exactly. Yeah.
Give a shit.
It is $8 a month, mate.
That's true. What about this one though? In 2018, this is a sequel, and I know you love the originals of these, or some of them at least. The Winnie the Pooh movies and TV show, Christopher Robin, where it's what if Christopher Robin was depressed?
Yeah.
And he was Ewan McGregor.
Yeah,
and then Winnie the Pooh shows up and he's like, I got to work at a bank and there's a talking bear or whatever.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's charming, isn't it?
It's good. It's nice.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the ones that, again, you go, why are you doing this for? This can't turn out well. It was really surprising in the way they did it. And I think it's because they took that different angle where you set it in the future. You got this down and out of his like Christopher Robin.
He's got a laser gun because it's the future.
Yeah. He might be a bit schizophrenic, maybe. Who knows? There's all these kind of elements. I think it worked really well. It's just beautiful, charming film just about growing up.
Yeah.
And I think it geared itself more towards an adult audience too,
Yeah,
other than a
right.
child audience. So it really had something.
You had to have known
else.
those movies, do you think? Or
Well, maybe a bit of that. But
Do kids still watch a Winnie the Pooh? Would you show your kids Winnie the Pooh?
Isn't like the Tigger movies one of the best, or some of those movies are some of the
people
best?
love like the Tigger
Disney
movie and the
movies,
Piglet
don't they?
because they did a lot of. Well, the thing with Winnie the Pooh is they really dug themselves a hole and turned it into a toddler brand.
Yeah.
So
right.
a lot of people. That's why I think Christopher Robin didn't perform very well. It's because Winnie the Pooh is the toddler brand of Disney.
Yeah.
Because they did all these TV shows and the straight to DVD films and stuff like that.
And then you're taking your 3-year-old to Christopher Robin.
yeah.
What is aging? What is? Oh no!
Yeah, exactly.
I liked the cartoon, like there was the Disney series as a kid. Like it was quite a nice, like little fun adventure. Maybe this was also hurt by Paddington.
Yeah.
Potentially. And I think some of the designs got criticized because he kind of looks like a shitty bear.
Yeah.
But that's what he initially, like if you look at the original books.
Yeah.
He's all rumpled.
Yeah. They're very odd, those original books.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
They've deviated wildly, immediately from what they started doing. Yeah. But he's just kind of crooked eyes and like.
But even if you look at the original bear, like the actual bear, it's very much like it was in the film.
Yeah.
Just old and tattered, and because obviously the author wrote the stories about his child, Christopher Robin, and he had a series of toys which were the bear, the tiger, and all the pig and whatever else.
Yeah.
So if you look at the original pictures of the original dolls, it's very much like what it was in Christopher Robin.
Oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Well, here's a question though about this universe.
Sure.
All of
The
these,
Christopher Robin cinematic universe.
all these movies and shows are like technically set inside Christopher Robin's imagination, right? But the live action movie, they're real? Is that right?
I think it's always been ambiguous. It's like
so the movie doesn't answer that question.
Not
It's like, no, the
really.
bear's real. It's got
not from
guts.
memory. I only watched it once when it first came out, but and actually maybe seen it a couple of times. But I don't really remember whether they left it open
Because
ended
his kids
or
see it, don't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Or are they just going along with it because they're kids or
Yeah,
whatever?
maybe. Who knows?
Maybe he told the story to a young Walt Disney, who then
Yeah.
in that universe, who then took the idea and was like, "You haven't written this down, so I'm taking it."
Yeah. That was actually Mark Foster directed that. He did Quantum of
Right,
Solace,
yeah.
among other things.
Oh.
That's interesting. 2019. This was a huge year for Disney remakes and sequels because Dumbo it's the original Dumbo and then it's more Dumbo, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's Tim
That's
Burton.
right. Yeah.
And I haven't seen it because I didn't want to.
No.
But
It's okay. It's actually not bad.
There we go.
Considering Tim Burton's there. But I feel like
in spite of.
Yeah. The original film's really dark.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and you see that, it's so...
We did rewatch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
did
I
not-
remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hadn't watched it. And you
I didn't
watched
like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Tim Burton in this instance was actually a decent choice for it. And what they did, you're right, they took that... The original film's like 70 minutes long. The first like hour of the movie, of the remake, is the original film. And then they go off in this tangent and make up like, it's essentially like the first film plus a sequel tacked on.
Yeah.
I think that they did it quite well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's something to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of elephants and stuff, I really enjoyed.
Here we go. This is going to be a good segue. Here we go.
The one and only Ivan. I thought. I mean, it's not Dumbo. There's just some animals in it, but it's about a circus.
Yeah.
But I another one I watched with my son, and it's about animals trying to escape this 80s mall that they're trapped in, and it's quite delightful.
Yeah,
and
I
Bryan
liked it too.
Cranston's in it,
Yeah.
so. For me, I don't really want to watch Dumbo, but I guess if you want a movie that I think might be better than the movie Dumbo, a movie I haven't seen,
If your kids are obsessed with elephants.
that's right.
Yeah.
One and only Ivan. And then we had that same year. I guess we should talk about this one briefly, but Lady and the Tramp was a big one of the big marquee titles to kick off Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And I just never watched it.
I have no memory of that. At
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Justin Theroux was.
That's right,
And
yeah.
it was Tessa Thompson.
Tessa
is that
Thompson,
right?
yeah.
What's that one like?
It's okay. It's not
All
bad.
these are okay.
Yeah, some of them are okay. I was not expecting, but this is another one where I was like, what are you going to do with this?
Yeah.
But it's not bad. It's charming. It's obviously lower budget than some of the other ones. They use real dogs instead
I was going to
of.
say, but I think I would like that more.
I think it worked really well.
Places, yeah.
They had the CGI on the faces to make them a bit more expressive, and I think people were more receptive to that than like what they did with the Jungle Book and
Okay.
the Lion King.
All right.
It was okay.
It was okay. It's good
Decent
to hear.
fun. Yeah.
And then, of course, we got The Lion King, which we have talked about, which, again, I had a problem with the expression of the animals. I thought James Earl Jones seemed tired.
Yeah.
And, I get why you'd keep him because it's an amazing performance in the first one, but I think if you're recasting everybody, maybe
recast them.
Jack Black.
Maybe you could do Jack Black.
Yeah.
But there was one... Flippity-doo! There was one moment where they do the Lion Sleeps Tonight, and all the animals in the jungle start kind of bopping along to it, and that was the one moment in that movie where I went, I kind of perked up and went, this is new, this is interesting, and then it kind of just goes back to let's just do the Lion King again, and I just couldn't. Again, as a tech demo, and I think we said this at the time, it might be the best looking movie ever made.
Oh yeah.
It's
incredible.
Incredible. It's all digital.
Yeah.
I think there's one shot that's not. Is that right?
Yeah, the very first shot of the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just pointless to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I can also see how if you haven't seen The Lion King, I think my son has my son seen it? I can't remember. I might have taken him to it and I think he liked it. Or I didn't. I can't remember. But yeah. I don't know. But Aladdin for some reason I did like a lot for some reason. Guy Ritchie's Aladdin.
Yeah, that's right.
World.
Yeah.
I think that deviated a lot in a good way.
hugely.
I think the idea of Will Smith coming in and just not doing Robin Williams
Yes.
was smart.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it was a bit wonky at times. And
And they could have got Jack Black.
they couldn't.
Yeah.
But I was going into that.
Which did he do?
I could have, going into that, I was like, I'm going to hate this.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it's fun.
Right.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I remember.
Uh-oh. Here's what we brought you on for,
I will
Dave.
die on this hill.
Yeah.
It's okay. No, it's all right.
No,
It's fun. It's charming. From memory, there was something about it that just missed the mark for me. I think it felt really theatrical, almost like it was too much like a stage play for my liking. I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. You go.
I was
going
going
to
to say, it fascinated me that they put in extra songs.
Yeah, that
they
was-
risked extra songs.
Yeah.
Which
Can't
maybe
even
were not
remember
as
the-
strong.
I felt like
the princess has a song about, you're
Oh,
not going
yeah.
to tell me what to do.
that's what I didn't like about it when
That's
they
right,
added.
yeah.
I sound so hypocritical because I'm saying you add stuff and it's great, but I
But
think
sometimes
Aladdin
it works and sometimes it doesn't, you know?
I feel like the extra songs. The original movie is so tight. It's jam packed. It's the narrative goes really quickly and it's great. You start adding stuff and it's almost like you're just padding it out just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because essentially it is one of those shot for shot remakes, and then they just add little bits of and it just feels like you're just making something that was perfect just a little bit less perfect.
And that, I think, would throw people off as well if you if you go through 40 minutes of the movie and it's exactly the same as the previous one. And I'm like, I'm getting in the groove of this live thing, and then they're like, oh, there's
What's
more
this?
songs. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, I had fun with that one.
Yeah, but Will Smith was good. Will Smith was fantastic. The best part about that.
I thought it was, and we'll talk about him in a minute, actually, because I got some future stuff. But then in 2020, we had Mulan, and I think we might disagree on this one as well, because I thought, even though they took out the dragon, which I thought was a good thing, controversial, I know.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty kind of I don't know, like I wanted it to be this big kind of sweeping epic, and like all the controversies aside, which is that's a big sweeping generalization. Like, all those human rights atrocities that you push aside, but it just didn't quite like reach that for me. But there were some pretty spectacular banners waving about. And I think there's some good casting in that, but I really liked that first Mulan, except for the dragon.
Yeah,
and I just didn't think this got there.
This could have been a perfect movie for you then.
Could have been, yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was all the action scenes and stuff fantastic, the choreography and all that. It's really beautiful. I'm not one that's huge on the original Mulan. I think I just kind of just missed it when I was younger. I mean, I watched it, but it was one that I never really returned to.
That's interesting because I came to that late, like as an adult, probably like in the last 5 years. And I was like, because, I was a bit older then. I'm like, I don't fucking watch these. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I think it's not like an Aladdin or a Lion King or a Little Mermaid. But I think it's like a Hercules for me. You know what I mean? It's like a pretty solid
attempt. Now, see, I obviously, not a huge amount of animation, love Disney stuff and that. But I went through that phase too, which is like, and I feel like that coincided with around the Mulan era, where it's like, I'm not watching these anymore,
Atlantis.
That was the last one I saw in a cinema.
Oh,
as
really?
A kid.
Yeah.
Atlantis. Yeah, that's right.
Well, I've seen a lot of people say, especially on social media recently, there's a bunch of stuff that is ripe for a live action reimagination.
Emperor's New Groove.
That or Atlantis or Treasure Planet.
I fucking love Treasure Planet.
That middle sort of.
Yeah. You like Treasure Planet, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Thank God.
Still haven't seen it.
I've told you to watch Treasure Planet, Mason.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Because it's they're apparently very good, but also they don't have the huge fan base that will
exactly
will turn it. But they still have the property, so why not?
Well, speaking of one of the later ones, they are doing Lilo and Stitch, so I think they might be heading into that. But in terms of the last one, we already talked about Cruella, so we can just skip over that. It's pretty good, I guess. It's better than you might think.
Yeah.
Or you might hate it with, I think, a lot of these. I think there's going to be people who go through this list who are just like, I hate every single one of these, which I can also understand, honestly.
It's all so much built around nostalgia.
Yeah.
And you're either going to love the fact that they're plundering the depths of your childhood, or you're going to just fucking hate it.
Well, see, sometimes I'm about 50-50. Sometimes I'm like, oh, okay. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you're going to explain Han Solo's blaster and his vest and his name or whatever. But sometimes I'm like, oh, wow, you're explaining Han Solo's blaster and his vest and his name. I love it.
And it could just be how you feel on the day.
Yeah, exactly right.
I know, Mason, you have to duck off to work, so I'm just going to touch on quickly some things that are coming up, right?
Yes.
The sequels to Aladdin, The Lion King, The Jungle Book, and Cruella, as well as an untitled Prince Andor movie. Anders? The Billy Magnussen character from Aladdin.
Oh,
it's like the weird...
Yeah, that's right.
Silly guy. Big silly man.
I love Billy Magnussen, so I'm all for that, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, that was a character that wasn't in the original film. So
No.
that'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
And then we're going to get, they're filming this at the moment, but The Little Mermaid, you just go on Twitter, you just get a barrage of content and comments about that movie. I never was really into it, so I don't. That's one I don't really care about.
Yeah.
Snow White, Hunchback, it's just called Hunchback apparently.
Hunch.
It's joking, but it's Hunchback, right?
Yeah.
Back.
Bambi?
Because it starts out straight. He starts with a straight back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then he got to explain it.
Regular back.
Bambi? I guess, yeah. Hercules?
Yeah.
Could be interesting.
Right.
Peter, Pan, and Wendy. There's been a lot of those lately, including, what's the one we saw that was terrible?
Pan?
Yeah, there's so many of them.
There was a mid-2000s Peter Pan remake live action, which I think is quite good. It's got Jason Isaacs as Hook.
That's right, yeah.
I remember it being good. I don't know whether it is. Pinocchio again. It's not called Pinocchio again, but... This one I think is interesting. The Sword in the Stone, I think, could be something because it's kind of vaguely remembered and it's Arthurian, but also it's King Arthur and they never do well. It's
It's going to be interesting.
This one, I'd be interested to know your thoughts. Mason
Uh-oh.
or Dave. No, Robin Hood is getting a remake, but the animal version.
Another one. Yes.
So it's the Fox version, the Fox guy. So, yes.
Yeah.
I
like the story of Robin Hood. I'm not huge on the original film, the animated one. That's like that period just after Walt died, and they're really struggling at the studio.
It's aimless, isn't it?
Yeah. They don't. You can tell that people at the studio don't know how to make the movies the way Walt did, and it's just So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
It's up
gonna be
until
weird.
like the Little Mermaid. It's like, do you guys like
that
the
Renaissance.
Rescuers?
Yeah.
It's like,
No.
no,
Yeah.
I guess.
No one does.
Yeah.
That 70s, like 20 years between his death and like the 90s, the late 80s.
Yeah.
It's just weird
Odd
stuff.
time period.
Yeah.
Here's a question though. I guess this could be for anybody, but for Dave specifically.
Sure.
Do you think
I can answer it, but I won't know the answer. So it'll be an aimless, clueless answer.
Do you think we're going to get to the point where we're going to get into remaking like Pixar movies in live action, or like the more modern 3D Disney movies like Enchanted and not Enchanted, that is the live action, Frozen and Tangled and things like that? We're going to hit that at some point. Do you think?
Gonna have to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so like the rate that they're pumping them out, especially with Disney Plus. I mean that the Lilo and Stitch one, the Pinocchio one, and the Peter Pan and Wendy, they're all going to Disney Plus.
Oh, okay,
so you're going to have a shitload of them going on Disney Plus, as well as the ones going to cinemas. They're going to hit a stage where you're going to have to go, fuck it, let's do Frozen.
Let's get Emma Watson. We're doing Frozen.
Yeah. I reckon they'll do live action Toy Story, like with a very old Tom Hanks maybe as the dad or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought you meant as Woody.
yeah.
Oh, it's Woody.
Just out of breath.
Yeah, but just like or maybe the granddad or something like that. They'll do a little bit of a twist of like, here's all the toys I had when I was a kid or something.
He's Geppetto in Pinocchio.
He is,
that
yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. There's been a lot of those lately as well, I feel, or the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think like a live action Frozen would make $1 billion.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Straight
absolutely.
up.
That one's.
Absolutely.
I mean, that franchise struck gold.
Yeah.
Like there's something about it that the kids love.
Yeah.
You know?
The only thing that surprised me about Frozen is it took that long to do the sequel. I thought they would have cranked it out a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And I still think Tangled's better. And I think
I agree.
Moana's better than Tangled. And I think that, what was the last one? Raya is not as good as Tangled, but it's still pretty good.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
Yeah,
Good list.
I
Good list.
agree.
Good range.
Yeah.
That's pretty much everything, though, I think, unless anyone has any comments about live action. What are they doing? What do you guys think?
Well, once again, it's not our money except for the
Yeah,
$8
exactly.
a month. So I reckon they can do what they like.
Yeah.
Until, I mean, they have enough money currently.
Oh,
Even if they make bad decisions every year until I die, they'll still be around.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter. In my opinion, it doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah.
Do whatever they want.
Look, I think, like I said at the beginning, I think they're fine. It's like the natural progression of storytelling.
Yeah.
You tell the same story through hundreds of years in different ways.
Exactly,
I see no
yeah.
problem with it. Bring it to the new generation. I mean, it's going to get to a point where kids, and I don't know if maybe even the new generations won't watch the original animated films. I don't really know, but I feel like this is a way to keep them out there and keep the stories alive.
I mean, another way would be for Disney to let go of the copyright of.
oh yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that, Mason.
All right, I'm just saying, Disney. Just saying, you want some fresh new eyes on this stuff.
Right.
You know?
It kind of is, and you could probably speak to this more. It's a bit of a shame in terms of what they're doing with 2D animation now, which is nothing. Do you think there's any room for that coming back anytime soon?
I think if it does come back, what we'll see is they have this really terrific form of like hybrid animation, which is a hybrid with 2D and 3D. And they've dabbled with it in the past. Had this really fantastic short film called Paperman, like early 2010s.
Yeah, I know
it's a gorgeous style of animation. And if it does come back, I feel like that's the way they're going to push. And we've seen them experimenting with it the last few years. I feel like we will see something soon.
Yeah.
But I think they might just be waiting for that right time.
Do you think it might be like an Into the Spider-Verse situation where you're taking even though that's not traditional animation, but there's a lot of like 2D.
Oh, that's the
imagery.
exact same technology, yeah.
Yeah, right. So because I don't think you can't just go, here's a movie that looks like Aladdin.
Yeah.
Like it's not enough now, unfortunately.
No.
Even though that's a beautiful looking film.
Yeah.
You can't put something out like that
No,
now.
exactly right.
Unless it's the sequel or to straight to DVD or whatever. The third one I think is pretty good. Prince of Thieves. Prince of Thieves?
Yeah.
King of Thieves.
King of Thieves. Oh, yeah, I always do that too, yeah.
But look, if you love animation, which I know you do, Dave, then you should
yeah.
check out Dave's channel, Dave Lee Down Under. It's well worth doing. He does a cartoon evolution every month.
Yes.
Which kills him every time.
Kills me. I'm dead. I'm half dead at the moment.
He recently did the Rugrats because they've moved, speaking of moving into 3D, they've done that, which is a fascinating look through the history of it's Rugrats specifically, but it's like Nickelodeon focused as well.
I kind of dive
a lot
into
of stuff that you talk about, I don't know.
Yeah.
And your research is like next to none. I know you've got a huge archive of like footage and also books that you buy, and they're just so thorough and well edited. And in addition to that, you do a lot of movie reviews. Like you said, you do your own podcast, which is on its own YouTube channel now.
Yes.
Which I don't think I mentioned this up top, but I do listen to it every week. And also, more often than not, I'll be like, shit, I should talk about that. And then because you mention the thing, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I haven't put that in. And then I'll put it in my show notes.
Yeah.
So it goes out on a Saturday on
So
Patreon.
if you want to hear the primary source,
Yeah.
a lot of our stuff is
Come
just
straight to me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did an episode as well a few months back. But that comes out Monday normally as well, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, yeah.
Which is well worth checking out. But would you like to stick around for the What We're Reading segment?
Absolutely.
He's going to do it, Mason.
You can't talk
Do
that.
it. All right. I'll just sit and watch.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
All right, I'm going to play the theme song and then I'm going to say Westworld. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to do it. It's just a thing that I have to do, isn't it, Mason?
He doesn't have to do it, but he does it.
You won't hear the theme. You'll just hear me say Westworld. That's the wrong theme. I played the main theme to the show.
Wow.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Here we go. I'm doing the theme. Westworld.
That's when you know.
That's when you know the theme song's nearly over. This is the segment of the show where we talk about things we are watching or reading or going to watch or read.
That's right.
Does anybody have any things that they're watching or reading?
Well, Dave, you probably don't know this, but the other day, James and Claire bought me a Switch for my birthday.
Oh, yes.
And I've been having fun with Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
But I bought some other games because Breath of the Wild is like, it's quite involved for me at least. It takes a lot of time. So I'm like, I'll get some other stuff that might be a little quicker to get through. So I got the Ghostbusters game, the Ghostbusters remastered game, which is
the real Ghostbusters.
The real
3.
Ghostbusters 3 is what people say.
Yeah.
That's super fun. They got all the I mean, again, this is me just like explaining stuff that everybody else got 5 to 7 years ago.
Yeah, right.
But
I think that might be like a 10-year-old game.
yeah, it's like
now.
2000. It's the original came out in 2009, but
Wow.
the remaster came out like fairly recently. It's really good. They got all the cast back somehow. It's good fun. It is. It does feel like like a proper sequel.
Cool, okay.
It's really good if you've never gotten into it, which everybody probably has at this point.
Yeah.
But and it's good, and they go to weird parallel dimensions. You fight the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man again.
But he's dead.
No, they brought
I
him
think he
back.
was a ghost.
He's
though,
come
wasn't
back,
he?
yeah.
You try. It's like they sort of do a thing where it's like it's kind of the greatest hits at the start. So you catch Slimer and you fight the
Oh, cool.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and then etc.
Does like the ghost trap break or something and they all get out or whatever?
The ghost trap breaks and lets Slimer out.
Yep.
And then there's a more.
And then there's a
shenanigans.
tutorial.
There's a tutorial. Yeah. And I also got a game called Void Bastards, which is
Roguelike.
I'd not really heard of it before, but a couple of people mentioned it positively, and I checked it out. And it's kind of like cell shaded animation, and it's like a first person shooter kind of thing, and it's set in space, and it's kind of a thing where you go to different a derelict spacecraft, and you go in there and you shoot everybody, and you go out, and you can do it in it's like a 5-minute level. So it's good. It's good.
Is it
good to pick up
randomly
on-
generated?
I don't know.
Is dogs fighting out there?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm also getting into dogfighting. I set up a dogfighting ring, and that's what I've been doing this week.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's in here. She's all right. I just thought she might have been in a dog fight. I don't know about.
I've also been enjoying the Cadbury Crunchy.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
It's
I
very
prefer a Violet
crunchy.
Crumble, if I'm
Yeah?
honest. But Dave, we appreciate the box of
That's
favourites
okay.
you brought.
A pleasure.
Regardless. You don't do a lot of video games, do you? Because you are busy all the time.
I'm so busy. I love games. I'm not one that's like hugely into like the ones you got to dedicate so much time to. I like the Marios or the,
totally.
that kind of stuff is like I got a Switch earlier in the year, late last year. So every now and then I'll fire up the Mario 64. I've been playing through that. Oh fuck, it's so good.
That's a tough game, man.
It is.
Like mechanically. Also, it's like, this is broken a little bit.
Yeah, I remember how hard it was. I forgot how hard it was. Yeah.
Do you got the 3D All-Star collection?
Yeah.
Same. I've been doing Mario Galaxy every now and then, dip it in.
yeah.
That's a fucking amazing game.
Yeah.
What have I been doing? I watched Guy Ritchie's new movie, Wrath of Man, with
right.
Jason Statham. It's all
What did
right.
he think of it?
Very good. He's done it again somehow.
Done it.
I'm disappointed because his last one was something about drug dealing and Matthew McConaughey.
The Gentleman, yeah.
Which I quite liked. And this felt like a early 2000s Jason Statham action
Right.
film. And
It could have been directed by anybody.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of them on Netflix.
Yeah,
They're just whatever.
that's what it felt. It was
right.
it was like it tried to be a bit twisty, but it wasn't very interesting, and it's fine. I preferred his Aladdin, if I'm honest.
Oh,
Guy
there
Ritchie's
you go.
Aladdin.
Wow.
Oh, you peaked Guy Ritchie and Aladdin.
What about you?
Two most recent things I've watched. I saw Fast 9.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Have
Yep.
you? Have either of you seen
Yeah, I
it?
watched it yesterday.
What did you guys think?
We didn't like it.
Yeah, I
didn't
know.
like it.
I like it.
Yeah. I've watched the first two so many times over the years.
Yeah.
Loved it when I was a kid, and it's just every time I've gone to go, okay, I'm going to fucking watch all these movies. I watch the first two and then I give up.
Yeah.
So this time I'm like, okay, I did some coverage for Fast 9.
I saw your interviews.
I
Yeah.
did some interviews for it, and I was like, shit, I have to watch them all now.
Yeah.
So my experience with the Fast saga has happened in the space of about a week.
Yeah, right. Wow. That's
So
wow.
by the time I've got to this
It's
new
20
one,
years
I'm
of
still
films.
reeling and like, yeah, fuck, it's so
They
good.
really evolve. There's a very,
Yeah,
steep evolution.
Absolutely. I enjoyed the new one, but again, it could be because I don't have that long and storied history with them.
Because we're currently working through them for Caravan of Garbage, the first
Right,
three.
yes.
And spoiler alert, we're doing Tokyo Drift this week. And I think that's one of the best.
Yeah.
It's just like a real odd duck. And it
Yeah.
doesn't really kind of fit the rest of them, but it's like this little side story
Yeah.
situation that I kind of enjoyed. But it ebbs and flows for me. Some are better than others. I think there is a drop in quality with the death of Paul Walker. And I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's him specifically,
No.
but there is a
Definitely
there's a
agree.
shift in it which I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
I didn't really like Hobbs and Shaw, to be honest.
No,
thought
I
it was
wasn't
like-
huge on it.
I think
Yeah.
you've talked about that with your dad.
Yeah,
actually,
I
but
did speak about that on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's just such a weird film.
Yeah.
We also watched Luca. Have you seen that? That's the new Pixar
I haven't,
one.
no, yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Because
Really good.
I've heard like people criticize it for being too simple, but
Yeah.
kind of like, I think, why can't it be though?
Yeah, exactly
Again, I
right.
haven't seen it,
Yeah.
so maybe
Yeah.
I wouldn't like it. But
There's they've done journeys into the mind and the soul.
Yeah, exactly.
And all the toys are alive. Why not just do a
it
movie
back a
about
bit.
people that are
Yeah.
having a nice time?
Yeah, that's
or
what I
whatever
liked
happens in
about
that movie.
fish, they're also fish monsters.
Oh, there's also
Yeah,
fish
fish
monsters.
monsters,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it. Just simple Pixar storytelling. Soul was like probably the most extravagant movie they've ever done.
Yeah.
Pare it down a little bit.
Well, that,
You know,
like,
just-
I
just
like
chill out.
Soul like a lot.
I loved it.
But I wouldn't show my kid that. I think
Yeah.
Claire started to show him and he's like, what is this, like an existential crisis? What the fuck is... You know what I mean? It's like a man coming to terms
And
with not...
jazz.
Yeah, but
Ugh.
like not realizing his true potential or whatever,
Yeah.
that he's stuck in the afterlife and there's 2D ghosts coming after him or whatever.
Yeah.
And Luca's like a boy who's having little
Yeah.
fun adventures in Italy or whatever. So I think we're going to
Yeah.
give that a go. And
It's
that's
good.
free, isn't it?
That is a free one.
Free,
They've just
$8
dumped it on there.
a month,
yeah.
but
yeah.
and I know that the people who made it were a bit upset
Yeah,
about
they're not
that,
happy
weren't
about
they?
it. Apparently,
Yeah.
people at Pixar spend 5 years on a film, it gets dumped on Disney Plus
Yeah.
for free, whereas everything else is going to
Yeah.
Premier Access.
I guess they probably crunched the numbers and went, people aren't going to see this.
Yeah.
Well, Soul did really well subscription wise. So they probably, that's the leading theory, is like,
Yeah.
they seen what Soul did, let's do it again with
Yeah.
Luca.
They should have followed the Cruella route
Yeah.
and just done a Toy Story prequel. It's just
Yeah.
about sheets of plastic in a factory. That'd get on Premier Access, wouldn't it? Cruella.
There must be a formula that, and I'm sorry, Basic, because I know you need to go. There must be
No, I got time.
there must be a formula of where they go, right, so people probably see on average, like people who aren't lunatics like us, they probably watch 3, maybe 4 movies a year.
Yeah.
But on Disney Plus, and we can lock them in, we can get, $100 plus from them consistently forever
Yeah.
if we get them to sign up for Soul or whatever.
Yeah.
So they clearly have figured it out. And
Yeah.
during the pandemic still going, they've obviously gone,
Yeah.
this isn't a property that people know. It's not Toy Story
Exactly right.
5.
Yeah.
It's about a fish boy.
Yeah.
So let's do that. Yeah. Anything else anyone's been bloody doing or whatever
about
you're
it, I
doing?
think,
That's about it for me, yeah.
Cool. All right, Dave. Well, thanks again for coming in.
No problem. Thank
Do
you for
What
having
are your
me.
social medias? also?
It's like Dave Lee Down Under. It's like Down Under without the
Oh, that's not with an
vowels.
accent. Doon under.
It's Dave Lee Down Under. You'll find me.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Excellent. Again, I love your work. I watch,
Thank you
I
very
think,
much.
most of the things that you put out.
I appreciate it.
Unless it's where you ranked the live action movies of
Yes.
Disney, where I purposely didn't watch it because we were
Right.
going to do this.
Beautiful.
But no, thank
Yeah.
you for coming in as well.
No problem.
Really
Thank you
What
so
a
much
bloody
for having
delight.
me.
Thank you, Dave.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, let's do the next segment of the show, Mason.
Okay.
But Dave Lee has to go.
See you later,
Yeah,
guys.
He's got to go.
I'm off. I'm out of here.
He will
I'm
not
getting
stand
kicked
here.
out.
We had you here for when you will not listen to our letters. There are private letters for us.
Okay, I'll get out of here. I'll listen to it later. I'll sneak it in. See you later.
The classic one was letters, oh letters, we love you. Some letters, they're only a day away. You know they're here right now. We're gonna do letters.
Just before we get started, James.
The letters segment really sneaks up, doesn't it? Go on.
Sure it does. Letters segment. It's on YouTube, obviously, the letters theme.
Yeah.
I get it every week.
What are we up
3
to?
thumbs down.
What?
3 thumbs down.
Who's doing that?
652 thumbs up.
That's
I reckon
good.
we can get that up. We can get
Yeah.
it up. But also 14,000 views.
Pretty good.
Pretty good for a letters theme, right?
I agree.
I'd say one of the most viewed letters themes on YouTube.
Probably Mr. Rogers has got one.
I don't know.
Second only to Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers
Doesn't he have a
letters.
mailman? The mailman comes in, he's like, I've come to bring mail. And Mr. Rogers is like, fucking get in here, mate.
What he says?
Get in here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to get in contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod
Get in
at
here.
gmail.com. And
That's
get
right.
in here, we say.
Exactly.
We give you a big old Mr. Rogers, get in here.
So,
Get in here, you dog.
Come on, mate.
You dirty dog.
Just get in here.
Got on your mate.
Yeah, so if you don't want to register, hashtag weeklyplanetpod on Twitter, weeklyplanetpod@gmail.com. Did you already say that? It's neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there. You got an email there?
I do. I got a tweet here.
Nice.
Hashtag weeklyplanetpod from Benson Maid, who says,
That's a great name.
when are you...
If my name was Benson Maid, I'd have a business.
What would it be?
I'd make things.
You probably would
Like,
have
this
to.
is Benson Maid, baby.
You could
That'd be
even-
my slogan.
You could also
This is
say...
Benson Maid, you dogs.
You could say you made something.
You dirty dogs.
But you could say you made it, but you didn't.
Oh,
and you're not
sneaky.
technically lying because it's your name.
Yeah.
It's that 100% Australian beef McDonald's situation.
That's
you
right,
know,
exactly
thinking,
right, yeah.
Which
It's
we
actually
may have
made of sawdust.
Yeah, which we may have explained recently. So when are you two going to review Nobody with Bob Odenkirk? It's here in the UK. and
He's
it's
bloody busy, isn't he?
It's true. You got him. It's on here in the UK, and it's the funniest film I've seen since Red.
I haven't seen it yet.
Me neither. I think it's on streaming at the moment, isn't it?
Oh.
And also, they just announced a sequel. I do want to see it. I just haven't. It
Yeah.
came out when we couldn't see things, maybe. I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Our instinct, I don't know if we say this in the pod, but our instinct is always to like review something when it's hot and fresh. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Like,
Yeah.
especially in the current times we live in, we can really review anything at any point. But
Yeah.
you know,
Just something we're interested in.
Yeah.
But no, I am. Also, I think it had he mentioned, it's out in the UK. It had its release was kind of staggered, so
yeah.
which is kind of also why we do a lot of tentpole stuff. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah. So that's where it's at. What have you got in terms of letter?
I'm
though?
just looking right now.
I hope you have a good look, Mason. I hope you have a good bloody long hard look at yourself.
I'm going to. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
Fucking
This is from.
storage is full on my Google Drive. God damn it. Anyway,
Oh, no.
sorry, go on.
This is from Gold Star for Moss.
Wow.
His name's John, it says here.
Wow.
Hello, my name's John, and I've been a big fan of the Mr. Sunday Movies channel since about 2016, 2017.
Well, you're not an OG then, but I still appreciate it.
Since I was one of the many that thought Suicide Squad would be much better than what we got, and I loved all your videos on it. However, I only started listening to the podcast in 2019, and boy, am I glad I did. Because it's got me through some really tough times, and you introduced me to Auntie Donna. So not an OG listener, but, you know, still.
That's fine. That's all really good stuff. I was saying things in jest. I appreciate it.
I'm very serious. I was wondering if I could make a suggestion for the Caravan of Garbage. I'm not sure if you're aware, but the Chucky series comes out on Sci-Fi this fall.
I did know that.
I figured it'd
yeah.
be cool if you did Caravan of Garbage for the franchise, or maybe the original followed by the 2019 reboot.
Yeah, where he's he's Alexa or whatever.
Oh, that's okay, right. Oh, it is too. Yeah. Thank you, John. Maybe we'll get to that. But again, we're like horror movie noobs.
Yeah,
We don't.
I was thinking of doing actually Scream this year.
Okay.
Because
You
there's
love
a new
Jamie
one.
Kennedy.
I'm a huge fan.
Have we got any flack from Jamie
I don't
Kennedy
think
for
we
our Son
have,
of the
or
Mask
Jamie
video?
Kennedy fans. I think he knows that movie's terrible.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
But he still hasn't done his next part of the Son of the Mask. I want to know about his time in Australia. I want to hear his perspective.
Yeah, same, right?
Yeah, people...
We want to know. We just want to know what Americans think of Australia. We want to know where they went.
What do
Did
they
you go
think?
to Luna Park?
You could go to Luna Park. You could go to the Big Dipper. Do we have one of those?
You could go to the Big Prawn.
You could check it out.
Jamie Kennedy, did you go to... we're calling you out, Jamie Kennedy. Did you go to the Big Prawn? Did you go to any of our big things? The Big Sheep.
Yep. The big worm.
Yeah.
It's on the way to Phillip Island.
That's right.
It's literally a worm.
Did you go to Pombo Mart?
What's that?
It's like a junk shop on the way from here to Warrnambool.
Did you go to what's that?
Pombo
Pipeworks.
Mart. You think you're Pombo Mart?
Pipeworks.
Okay. Did you go to Caribbean Gardens?
Did you go to Chris and Murray's plant farm?
Did you go to National Tiles? Did you get some tiles for your LA mansion, which I assume you have?
Great stuff. So no, we will see.
I think Chris and Murray broke up.
Yeah, they did, and then it was just one of them.
It's just Chris. Yeah,
It was like Chris and his wife, maybe.
maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Go
yeah.
on.
Let's have a look.
He's looking right now, everyone.
I'm looking right now.
We're the boys in town. I'm loving it.
Did you go to McDonald's, Jamie Kennedy,
Which
when you were in
one?
Australia? Which McDonald's did you go to? Did you go to the one in Jolimont that looks like a big, like it looks like a fancy Art Deco mansion?
That's true.
Over there?
It does. Did you
Real
go to the
nice
one in Ballarat?
Yeah.
That's on Bakery Hill.
Did you go to one of our Hungry Jack's restaurants that looked like an old timey 1950s diner at the time, but they don't anymore? They just look like regular like Hungry Jack's now.
Were you in there and did you say to yourself, this reminds me a lot of Burger King? And you'd be right, because they couldn't name it Burger King in Australia due to legal reasons. They changed it to Hungry Jack's.
This is
inexplicably.
Do you think there's a real Jack out there? It doesn't matter. This is from Christopher Zenga. It says getting a heart transplant today.
Holy shit.
Hey, James and Mesa, have been along for the ride since your affiliation with comicbookmovie.com. I've been sick the past few years with advanced heart failure and I was only recently put on the list for transplant. It only took a month and a half to find a match, and now after getting the call, I'm just waiting till I have to go to the hospital. Just wanted to let you guys know you've been with me through some of the hardest time in my life. You never failed to make me forget about it and smile even for just a second.
Forget about it.
He says you never failed to make me forget about it. So
Yeah, that's
good?
That's good,
Okay.
yes.
Took me a minute to pass it.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for all that you do and see you on the other side of transplant, not like ghosts. Can I be the official heart transplant recipient of the show? Yes, you can. Email back in, let us know how that went.
Hells yeah, email us
I mean,
back
please
in.
do.
And congratulations.
I'm assuming it went fine.
Yeah, congratulations. That's really cool. I'm
I mean,
glad.
don't do it immediately.
No,
if
obviously, you've
if
probably
you're
got some other
If you're like,
priorities.
I'm feeling a bit of chest pain.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
feeling a bit of a hurty in the chest.
Just quickly, just fire off an email. Then no, don't do that. Please, but take care of yourself. But no, that is really exciting.
That's
Genuinely,
wild, yeah.
we're very. Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Good. It's very cool and good.
I've got another one here, Mason. Do you want
Please.
me to do it?
Yes.
Okay, this is from Cameron Trimble, who says, you said you would get an Xbox depending on... it's not as accusatory as he's... Mate, that's my inflection. You said you would get an Xbox depending on if the games released on it were better than the PS. What's your opinion on the Halo games and the Halo 6 multiplayer trailer? I've never been like a Halo man, but you've
never been Master Chief.
No, I haven't.
Protagonist of the Halo games.
And people are very divided on this new Halo. I think also some people are probably putting too many, too much hope in it.
Okay, right.
The time for Halo to innovate has passed, I feel, at this point.
Yeah.
They need to do like a massive reinvention, like say maybe Doom did.
Sure, yeah.
Not to make it like that, but do you know what I mean? There's so many shooters now that are taken what was good about Halo and done their own thing. So no, I don't think Halo would be the one to get me on board. What do you think?
I mean, the last Halo I played was like whatever was current on the 360 at the time, which might have been Halo 3.
Yeah, I remember you had a 360.
Yeah.
How was that?
It was okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like all the interesting guns. They were kind of cool. But again, they need. I think they need to innovate. They need to. I don't know. It just doesn't.
More Halos?
It doesn't jump. I think you maybe had to get in. You have to get into Halo at a certain point, maybe in your life.
Yeah, it was like because the way
formative time.
The GoldenEye, was did a lot for multiplayer and whatever, and split screen. Halo was the same. It was like the next level of like multiplayer, and like everybody I knew at the time played it, but I didn't have an Xbox, so I've never really played it. I don't know the maps. I don't know Cortana or Cortona. I don't know about that level when you think it's one thing and then there's an alien invasion or whatever. I don't know about any of that anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know about that big ring. Is there a big ring?
That's the Halo. That's the titular.
I don't
Halo
know
thing.
about it.
Oh my god.
But no, again though, if there was like a bunch of Xbox stuff that came out that's better, then yes, I would. Again, I'm waiting because it felt like again with this E3 that they were treading water because most of the games they revealed are like, and this is also last generation stuff.
Yeah,
so we
sure.
haven't. There are a few exceptions, but we haven't yet seen like, and that's probably also because of COVID. But like the next iteration of stuff.
A lot of the Bethesda stuff was day one on Game Pass.
Okay, yeah.
Like so when like if you've got an Xbox and a Game Pass account, when it comes out, it's going to be free. Like so much of that stuff.
And that's cool.
This year was like that. So I mean, that's.
And somebody wrote in also, and I can't remember when, maybe it was a tweet, and had the opinion that if you like, you may as well get a PlayStation because all of the Xbox stuff you can get on PC if you wanted to anyway.
Yeah, right.
And I have
right.
a PC, so
Okay, here's some stuff. Here's some exclusives. Wow. Starfield, Stalker 2, Back 4 Blood.
Back 4 Blood,
which I think is kind of a Left 4 Dead kind of. Battlefield 2042. Psychonauts 2. Would you be interested in Psychonauts 2?
Yeah, maybe. I never played the first one, but it's interesting. Yeah,
I mean, none of this. I mean, again, a lot of this.
Back 4 Blood's coming to PlayStation.
A lot of this is interesting and on Game Pass maybe, but I don't think I'd buy a whole new system for it. Halo Infinite, Diablo 2, like the remake of that. Flight Simulator.
I don't think a lot of these are. Not all of these are exclusives either.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 5 and Redfall. Probably none of those I would. None of those I would.
You wouldn't get out of bed for it, Mason?
No, I wouldn't. Yep, that's correct. What about this? Sea of Thieves, Pirates of the Caribbean expansion.
I did see that. And what? No, never.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Stop trying to make pirate games. Nobody's buying them, mate. Yeah. They just keep having a run at different pirate things.
Sure do, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they'll release one that's incredible, but I just don't think it's something that people are interested in. It seems.
That's right.
That's how it goes. You got any more? Because I'm done.
That's everybody, I think.
That's everybody who ever wrote us a letter. We finally got to the end of the mailbag.
Yeah.
So we're going to need some more letters for next week.
Please email in.
Or tweets, #WeeklyPlanetPod, if you don't mind. Anything else?
If you dare.
What do you think? What do you think?
What do I think? I think it's the end of the show.
Yes.
It's traditionally where we end the show, I think, James.
Yes.
If we dare.
That's right. This is a good place to do it, though. So how would you wrap up the show?
I would say, folks, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, telling a friend, lying to a friend to get them to listen to the podcast. Thank you for sharing SPUMM-related content. And thank you for leaving some nice reviews. James, you got a 5-star review there?
Got a couple right here. It really helps out the show. You can just do it in-app. This is from Jay Wegner, 1985, who says, if you even have a passing interest in comic book movies and don't already listen to this podcast, you should be hit with a brick.
Nice. Absolute minimum.
So that's a good one, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And there's other reviews there, and I've just they've disappeared from my list. Mm-hmm. But you can check it out if you want, can't you, Mason?
You absolutely can. That's right.
Yeah.
And folks, if you want to get into contact with us, you can go to weeklyplanetpod at Gmail, at Facebook, at Twitter, at Bandcamp. You can go to planetbroadcasting.com. You can sign up to the newsletter from the aforementioned great Rob Collins. He's at Rob Collins on Twitter. He's at the Weekly Planet on Twitter. On Twitter, I'm Wikipedia Brown. On Instagram, I'm Nick Maso, NickMaseeau on your Mr. Sunday Movies. I am. Hashtag SPUMM, SPUMM, all caps.
Do it under every Sony tweet.
Yeah, they'll love that.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
It'll be our Spider-Verse. Our Snyderverse.
Robert's Bat and Bat?
Snyderverse, I meant to say.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Mr. Sunday Movies. If you want to chuck in a buck, we'd appreciate that. You can also go to bigsandwich.co. You can sign up, $9 dues per month. You get all sorts of bonus podcasts. We're talking about comic books. We're talking about clickbait. We're talking about fun years in pop culture, all kinds of stuff. Bonus stuff. Early videos, all kinds of things.
That's right.
Also, we've got some T-shirts on tpublic.com. You can search for The Weekly Planet. A friend of the show, Lucas, his T-shirts are back up. They were down briefly.
Oh, good.
But if you want an operating at 40% T-shirt.
Did we decide to lift the copyright ban?
That's exactly right. Yeah, we absolutely.
Why did they go down?
It was not explained. I sent them an email. I'm like, if this is a issue, if you think this is a copyright issue, it's not.
Yeah.
Please let them do that. I didn't get anything back, but they came back up. So
you're a hero.
I am a hero in many ways,
and I encouraged you in a lot of ways, didn't I? Gave you the confidence.
You didn't take my phone away, and I appreciate.
I tried.
You did. It's true, but I had that machete. So thank you to the Brute and the Basilisk and Rackham for all our musical themes, including our letters theme. 14,000 views.
Going strong. Give it some thumbs up
or down. We don't mind. Either way.
No.
Wow.
Thumbs up.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that is the whole show. Next week, Fast and Furious 9. Is it good? No.
Look, it's not that it's not good. It's just that we didn't like it, and it's not very good. We'll talk about it next week. It's probably about as good as Hobbs and Shaw, which also wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to give too much away.
I'm going to see it again.
Why?
I'm going to hit the cinema.
Okay.
I'm going to waste another 3 hours of my life.
Terrific.
Yeah. There was, actually, here's just a fun little thing before we go. I was in the cinema, and I couldn't hear, but I think there were some people talking. They were up back behind me, and I heard a woman go, "Hey, can you be quiet to these people?" And I just wanted to be like, "Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." Like, I know it's probably annoying. I get that, but it doesn't matter. There's nothing going on here.
Yeah. There were in my cinema. There were just some teens like taking photos of the screen and then sending them to chat or whatever. And I'm like, who cares?
Sending them to chat.
Yeah, to chat.
Who are they chatting with? What are teens up to?
TikTok.
If you're out there, and you know what teens are up to, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Keep an eye on them.
If you're a teen, don't contact us. We don't want to know from you.
No. We want to know people, we're on the outside looking in. That's what we want. All right, we'll see you next week.
Grab that gem, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye. I put the end sting in. It goes, and then it goes. That's right. That's what it does.
Wow.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
I mean, if you want. It's up to you.